Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Paul from the IESO. I worked in Market Settlements Department. I will be walking you through the webinar this morning. So the purpose of this webinar is to inform local distribution companies and unit submeter providers of an overview of new and updated online settlement submission forms that will be available starting December. The new form is called Ontario Electricity Rebate Form, and changes to the existing regulated price forms will also be covered as a result of conclusion to global adjustment refinancing. The scope of this presentation is limited to the elements of impacts to the submissions to the process on the online IESO. So as per the agenda, we will walk through the changes in the online forms. I will walk you through the Ontario Electricity Rebate submission process. We will then pause for questions. The second item about OER rebate applies to both LDCs and USMPs. After the questions, we will get into the changes to the RPP forms, which apply to LDCs only. So in terms of a little bit of background, on May 9th, 2019, legislative amendments to the Ontario Rebate for Electricity Consumer Act and Ontario Fair Hydro Act were passed to end global adjustment refinancing. As a result, it replaced the existing OREC rebate of 8% and replaced it with the Ontario Electricity Rebate at 31.8% effective November 1st, 2019. Since 2017, global adjustment refinancing lowered the electricity line on bills through reduced RPP prices. A GA modifier was also credited to eligible customers who did not participate in the RPP pricing. Effective November 1st, RPP prices returned to the true cost of electricity, and OEB has published these prices on their website. Let's talk about the Ontario Electricity Rebate submission process. As I mentioned, a new electricity rebate OER form for LDCs and USMPs will be available in online IESO starting December 2nd. This is when you will be able to submit claims that will be included on your November 30th, 2019 preliminary settlement statement. Similar to other submissions that you are aware of, this OER form will be available during the first 4 business days of the month at the end of the month for preliminary claims to be included on the last trading day of the last trading day of the month. The form will also be available between 11th and 14th business day of the month for any final adjustments that you would like to make to your claims. On slide 7, the LDCs will be required to submit OER claims for their eligible RPP customers and eligible non-RPP customers within the following categories. For the customers that are in their service territory, LDCs can submit the claims on their behalf. If LDC has embedded distributors within their territory or a licensed retailer servicing their area, they can also submit claims on their behalf. USMPs will be required to submit OER claims for their eligible RPP and non-RPP customers on a separate form. Claims must include number of customers, dollar amount, and the associated kilowatt-hour consumption. On slide 8 and 9, I will show you what the new forms look like. Slide 8 includes the form for the LDCs. The form is divided into 3 categories: the LDC distributor claims, embedded distributor claims, and licensed retailer claims. The fields within each of these categories will be exactly the same. You will notice that there is a subcategory of RPP customers and non-RPP customers. And the information you will be adding that is required is number of customers and payments to the IESO or from the IESO with the associated kilowatt hours. On slide number 9, this is the sample form for the OER submissions for the unit submeter providers. They only have a single category of USMP with subcategories of RPP and non-RPP customers. OER will be settled using a new charge number, and that is 9983. It will be called Ontario Electricity Rebate Settlement Amount, which will appear on your preliminary and final settlement statements as manual adjustments. And when you see your monthly invoice, you will see the same charge code number and the name. The comment field on the manual adjustment record will include the description of the claim that has been submitted. At the bottom, we have included some samples of the comments that you will see on your settlement statements. Another change as a result of the introduction of OER is that the monthly claims for OREC and fair hydro discount for eligible non-RPP customers as a result of GA modifier will no longer be accepted. USMPs and LDCs can submit post-final adjustments for OREC and fair hydro discounts for non-RPP customers as per the timelines identified in the regulations. In terms of next steps, we will be updating guide to the settlement claims and data submission via online IESO prior to end of this month. A new post-final adjustment form for OER claims will be available at the start of February 2020 next year. At this time, we will pause for any questions you may have on the submission process for OER claims. Please enter your questions in the Q&A section, and we will respond accordingly. Another question that we received is why split the new submission between RPP and non-RPP customers? This was the requirement proposed by the ministry for us for reporting purposes. We received a question, I believe, under the chat section. If you could please copy and paste it in the Q&A section, that would be great. We received a question about how long the ORAC form will be available for adjustments. It is our understanding that LDCs and USMPs can make a post-final adjustment claim for the 24-month historical period. In terms of the timelines, we expect that you will receive some communication from the OEB on that matter. So another question we received is about final adjustments, whether or not these adjustments can be submitted during the first 4 business days. We expect that it is up to the LDCs and USMPs to keep their records for accounting. The online forms allow claims to be submitted for the preliminary settlement statement during the first 4 business days, and any adjustments required can be submitted to us between 11th and 14th business days after the end of the month, which will be included on the final settlement statement for that last trading day of the month. The question we have now is, what about the post-final adjustment on the first 4 business day? As I stated in the presentation, the post-final adjustments for the OER form will be available starting February 2020. I hope that answers your question. If not, please contact LDC support mailbox. And is submission to be billed is to be made on billed basis or an accrual basis. We would appreciate that if you could provide some more details and contact LDC support mailbox so we can help you answer the question that you may have. Question: if adjustments can be submitted by using the post-final adjustment in the first 4 business days. Yes, the post-final submission form for OER will be available during the first 4 business days of the month. However, this form will not be available until the beginning of February. The question we received is, does the IESO know if there will be extra reporting requirements to a third party similar to the OREC reporting? We are not aware of any third party reporting at this time. Another question, are we still able to claim the old 8% rebate? Yes, the OREC post-final adjustment form will be available on a monthly basis. However, the 24-month submission deadline applies, and it is a rolling submission deadline month to month. The follow-up question that we received on whether OER claim is on accrual basis or the submission basis. The regulation outlines the requirements for making the claims. The regulation number is 36316. At this point in time, we're not able to provide any interpretation of that. You may be able to follow up with OEB on that matter as to what period the claims should be made for. Okay, seeing no more questions, we will move on to the regulated price plan submission changes. These changes apply to LDCs only. So with the amendments of Fair Hydro Act that started November 1st, RPP rates published by the OEB have removed GA modifier discount. LDCs can submit the RPP claims using the existing submission forms, and these are listed in the sub-bullets under second bullet. Some of the changes include, we've removed references to Fair Hydro Plan from the forms. Another change to these claims, to the settlement of these claims, would be that we will use charge type 142, regulated price plan settlement amount, effective on November 30th, 2019, preliminary settlement statement. Any post-final adjustments to historical RPP claims will also be settled under charge type 142. Slide 16 shows the updated form for the LDCs. And slide number 17 is for LDCs again for their smart meter claims. In terms of next steps, we will be updating the guide to settlement claims and data submission via the online IESO. This guide will be available prior to December 1st. As stated earlier, a new OER post-final adjustments claim form will be available at the beginning of December for historical adjustments. We will pause here for any questions on the RPP submission process. We received a question about downloading the guide from the website. This guide will be updated by the end of this week for you to review. The guide to the data submission is available on participant training webpage. If you need help, please contact LDC support team and they will be able to walk you through downloading the guide. In post-final adjustment in the first 4 business days versus the final settlement adjustment. I will start off with the final settlement adjustment part. On the first 4 business days of the month, when you're submitting the claim for the current month, which is the previous month, part of the days in that month have not gone final. You will have the opportunity to make any adjustments to the claims you have submitted in the first 4 business days for that month and make any corrections to that information between the 11th and the 14th business day. This final adjustment claim will show up as a final record on your settlement statement for the current month. Now moving on to the post-final adjustments. Post-final adjustments essentially mean that you need to make a correction to a month that has gone final already. So for example, in the month of November, if the month of November has gone final, which will be at the end of December, and you need to make a correction to the claim for the month of November, you will be able to do so at the beginning of January as a post-final adjustment to the month of November. I hope that answers your question. Please let us know if you need further details on that. Question about when will login information be provided. If you already have access to the online IESO, you will be able to access the OER forms through the online submission claims. If you do not have access to the online IESO, you will need to register a settlement contact with the IESO to be able to get access to all online settlement claims that are applicable to you. Please contact LDC support team if you need help registering a new contact. Are there 3 submission types: preliminary settlement statement, preliminary settlement submission, final adjustment, and post-final adjustment? Yes, that is correct. Seeing no more questions, I'd like to thank you for joining us today for the webinar. If you have any additional questions on the submission process for the OER rebate or changes to the RPP submission claims, please contact your LDC support team. Thank you very much for joining us again. Have a great day.